Do you think that it's going to take an attack for people to see what the possibility is of this threat?
Who cares what Carter says?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who cares. The terrorists care. The terrorists
they do
care.
not.
Hezbollah cares. Hamas cares. Ahmadinejad cares.
Well, I think it demonstrates that Iran thinks it's on a roll.
I really believe that people don't understand the danger that this country poses to the world. They're ignorant of the Persian situation. They don't know the culture. They don't know what's going on there. And I feel that this is the most dangerous country in the world.
I am very worried that nearly 6 years after 9/11, people are simply not focusing the way they should. There is a sense of complacency, and I hope it's not going to take another 9/11 to wake us up, particularly not a 9/11 with weapons of mass destruction.
The bad guys have to succeed only once.
As the terrorists have said, we have to succeed every time. And that's why I think the most disturbing thing I've heard in response to this indictment is the comment from some people that the threat was not imminent, as if we have to have just-in-time counterterrorism. You know, that is a prescription for mass tragedy in this country.
Unless the Iranians know that America means business, they're just going to keep moving.
You know, Ambassador, I worry that the world is in denial about this guy. Between his desire to get nuclear weapons, his threats against Israel, are we in denial about him?
Well, I think many are. I think many in Europe simply don't see the threat the same way that we do, and every time he pushes and we don't push back, I think it reinforces in Ahmadinejad's mind and the minds of many of the mullahs that they're going to get their way. So the lesson they're learning is the more they push against us, the more likely they are to prevail.
You know, I think the world, I see an analogy of the 1930s, Ambassador, with the world in denial, that we didn't listen to Hitler's rhetoric in many ways. Do you think the world understands how evil this regime is?
Well, it's not only the pronouncements that they make, but their continued effort over a nearly 20-year period to achieve a nuclear weapons capability, which they're getting closer and closer to. Yeah. When you do strategic analysis, you look at capabilities and intentions, and in the case of Iran, both are clear.
And then we are short attention span people, because it's been 5 years and people, they hear the news about Brian Ross's report and they say, yeah, but they haven't hit us. What are the chances?
Well, the chances are awfully good, unfortunately. The problem with what Brian Ross is reporting is a lot of these things are going on. We know people are coming across our borders. The FBI is real good, but the terrorists only have to be good once. Once they are, you could have an explosion anywhere in this city. It would tie things up. It would kill people. We'd never be the same.
Have you heard about this? Iran exonerated 6 people who killed in Islam's name.
Millions of people have witnessed that Iranian government has killed thousands of their opposition every day, every single day.
In this one case, the victims were stoned. They were actually drowned. Ready for this, folks? Ready for this crime? The crime was a young couple were walking together. They were engaged, and they were holding hands, walking together, and they were murdered.
Iran cracking down on women for dressing inappropriately, according to Islamic rules. The nationwide drive is an annual pre-summer crackdown aimed primarily at women whose coats are seen as too tight, trousers that are too short, and headscarves that are too loose.
It's an Islamic revolution. We have a serious problem until they define evil and realize there's some people you can't feed. They're our enemies. They want to kill us.
First came the crackdown on the way people dress, then the ban on Western hairstyles, and now Iran says it will be filtering what it considers to be immoral video and audio messages sent on mobile phones. The Supreme Council of the Cultural Revolution says new equipment will now prevent, quote, immoral messages and social problems.
You go to give someone a greeting and it escalates. And this is clearly what happened. He sees his teacher on Teacher Day. They go to shake hands, and then he ends up hugging her.
He kissed her on the hand.
This is forbidden. This is forbidden in the Sharia law there. Physical contact, you cannot have any with a woman unless you're related to her.
When the Iranian foreign minister arrived for dinner at the Iraq summit in Egypt, he saw red. Instead of sitting across the table from Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, he left abruptly. The minister claimed to be skipping out because of a skimpy red dress worn by a Russian entertainer. But the State Department said he might have been more afraid of the Secretary of State than the lady in red.
Well, was it the Secretary of State or a skimpy dress?
It's the big issue. How can we get Iran to abandon its nuclear ambitions when its top diplomat will not even break bread with ours? The foreign minister says he left the meal because of a female violinist's revealing red dress.
Now, Iranian government brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal on women, brutal on children, brutal on everybody.
Sharia law has been placed back into the laws, and that's Islamic-based law, which states that a girl is an adult at age 9 and a boy is an adult at age 15. It states that a woman's life is worth half that of a man.
Nobody has any rights in Iran. It's a police state.
Yes.
You step out of line, they're going to take you away, just like the song says.
Yeah.
Officially announced there are 150,000 arrests of individuals for improper clothing announced by the Iranian government. 17,000 people were stopped in Tehran's Mehrabad airport in a matter of a month and interrogated. And there were thousands of people arrested for participation in anti-government demonstrations by teachers, students, workers. So this sends a signal to those individuals in Iran that even a scholar voice would not be tolerated, let alone voice of dissent to overthrow the regime.
And those are the kind of people we're fighting in Iraq as well.
Absolutely.
Well, this is a classic case of a government trying to show moral equivalency where none exists. The 5 people that we're holding were out there trying to kill coalition soldiers. The 5 American citizens that Iran is holding are being held on trumped-up charges. So they're trying to create an equivalency where none exists. This is typical totalitarian propaganda. We shouldn't fall for it.
You're talking about Chavez, you're talking about Ortega, you're talking about Ahmadinejad, and you're talking about Kim Jong-il.
And a lot more. Even the guy who is Ahmadinejad's boss, he didn't get much coverage. Ali al-Khamenei, who is really the boss, the supreme leader of Iran, he's not cool. He doesn't come on camera with Mike Wallace. He doesn't wear a blue blazer. So he's one of these fulminating guys with smoke coming out of his ears. He's more dangerous than Ahmadinejad is.